welcome and thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Voices of Fostering. Today I'm joined by one of our lovely foster carers, Amy. Welcome, Amy.
Hello there. Hiya.
Hi, thanks so much for joining us. So, Amy, you're a foster carer. We want to know all about it, basically. So let's go right the way back to the beginning. How long have you been fostering and what led you to it?
So me and my husband Steve have been fostering with Children's First for 11 years. So we're 11 years.
So 11 years, wow. So when you go all the way back to 11 years ago, Amy, what was it that made you decide to do it?
So one of a family member, Celia, her name is, so Celia and Terry used to foster children. Basically, every time we have like a family event or something, we saw lots of they mainly foster teenagers. So you sort of see them coming in and out and sort of so blessed, these children have come from different backgrounds and how they've progressed through Celia and Terry's care was just amazing. So me and my husband obviously had lots of talks with Celia and sort of she gave me lots of advice and sort of lots of insights of how the fostering was. And basically, so me and my husband was like, we've got a spare room, we've got time, let's carry on the tradition and be foster carers. So we applied to be a foster carer with Children's First, and then and we had an initial visit via our supervising social worker, who still obviously did the initial visits, and then obviously we had the assessment process shortly after, which was about 6 or 7 months, and then obviously we had panel. And actually, the lady who came to do the initial visit became our supervising social worker for 11 years. So she's worked with us through the whole of it. So, yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So Celia and Terry, was it? Celia and Terry.
Yes.
So they were a massive inspiration to you.
Absolutely, yeah.
So what are they still in your life now? Like, are you...
Unfortunately, Celia passed away last year. But I think Terry's always still around, but Celia passed away, yeah.
But what a legacy that Celia has left.
Absolutely. Yeah,
so she knew that you were a foster carer. What did she think about it?
Oh, she thought it was amazing. As soon as we got approved, she was like, that's amazing. Obviously you're carrying it on. And so she was really impressed. Yeah.
And how does it feel, Amy, to think that you might do that now with other people in your family or your friendship circle? You might carry that inspiration on.
Yeah, I'm one of my friends who I've known for, I'd say probably about 15 years, going back to college with her. She's now a foster carer from obviously me talking to her. And now she's become a foster carer now. So I've got, quite a few foster carer friends who've inspired by me and Steve. So
that is brilliant. Nice. Absolutely brilliant. So what's it like being a foster carer, Amy? Tell us all about it.
Oh, it's, it can be challenging at times. Some children come into your care and, with different backgrounds, some display their feelings physically, I've had a little boy that used to spit in my face and kick at me, because of the background he came from. And actually, he was only 5 when he came into our care. He got adopted when he was 7. They always said he'd never get adopted by the behaviour that he was showing. And we turned his life around and he got adopted by someone. So, it's very, it's challenging at times, but very, very rewarding. We've fostered over 25 children. Most siblings who got adopted, who we still see, and a sibling who went home to birth parents. So, it's very rewarding on that part. You see them grow. They were only babies, really. They would grow with you and then they'd go adopted. And we still see them now, even 7 years later.
So you used 2 words there that I'd like to sort of look more into. So firstly, you said it can be challenging at times. What would you say have been some of the challenges and how have you overcome them?
Obviously going back to for our first placement, we were thrown with this little boy, and obviously the behaviour that he was showing was very physical. And so you have to sort of put it at the back of your mind all what was going on physically, give him lots of support and sort of say, look, we're here for you. We're not enemies. We're here to look after you. And, let's work together to see how we can improve this. And his life, his school changed, he turned around and he became such a lovely little boy. And when he moved, and the day that he moved, we looked back on he was with us for 18 months. So when we look back on it with him, he was like, yeah, it was really hard, wasn't it? And I'm like, yeah, but we got through it and here we are now.
Yeah.
So he's 18 now. So,
Wow.
yeah.
And that leads us perfectly on to the other word that I wanted to ask you more about, which is rewarding. You know, tell us about some of the most rewarding parts of being a foster carer, Amy.
Oh, well, you see them grow up, like obviously we've had little ones. So, you see their speech develop, you see them walking for the first time and sort of talking. And so, yes, really rewarding. We've had children that have come into our care who haven't been able to read at the age of 9, So they've gone to school and they're still in reception books, So we worked with them and now they're on top of the class for reading. So you sort of, the educational part, when you're working with the schools and the children and the families, So, yeah.
And can you imagine yourselves doing anything different now, Amy? How long do you see yourself doing this for?
After a long time, yeah. We've got three children in placement long term, so they're not going anywhere. Apparently, they're here till they're older. So, so we'd be fostering for a long time, yeah, I think. So.
And if anyone listening was wondering, what happens to a child who's looked after when they turn 18? What happens then?
I believe, and obviously this is obviously all new to me, but I believe they become, it's staying put or leave care. So, I'm sure our 3 will be staying put. I mean, there's no doubt about their match that they're going to be staying put. But yeah, that's all new to me. Obviously we've already had the little ones, but I believe it's staying put. Yeah.
Yeah. So how long have the 3 children who live with you now, how long have they been with you?
So my oldest one, he's been with us for 7 years since he was 5. So since he was little, and now he's 13 now. So our other 2, they've been with us for 3 years. So yeah.
And as you say, they're on long-term placements, so they will be with you until they're 18 and beyond, possibly. Do you feel just like any other family, really?
Oh yes, yeah, most definitely. Everyone, we're all sort of equal in the family. We all sort of go on holiday together. We took them abroad this year for the first time. The 2 little 2, we went to Ibiza. So you just treat them as your own, and but even when you looked at us, you wouldn't know. So yeah.
Yeah. And tell us about like a sort of typical weekend for you guys. What would you get up to?
So usually on a Saturday, we go like to town, we go shopping, we spend some time, have some time out and go for a meal, usually in a restaurant, go shopping. They spend their pocket money because obviously they get weekly pocket money. They on a Go Henry card, so they could just go and spend it as they will.
Yeah, they're really good though, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah, got the limit on there. They could just do what they like.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then on Sunday, I'm actually a Sunday school teacher as well. So I teach the children at Sunday clubs, so sometimes one of our 2 come or none of them come. So it's up to them if they want to come or not. And they do the Sunday club and activities. So yeah. And then obviously it's homework time and then back to bed ready for Monday. So
if you think back, Amy, to 11 years ago or before that, before you became a foster carer, and obviously you'd seen Celia and Terry and their lives, and you had your perception of what you thought fostering would be like. Is it how you imagined it would be?
Oh, much even better than that, I think. Obviously they had teenagers, so it's very different, But yeah, it's much what we thought it would be. It's good. Yeah, as what Celia told us about, it's literally that. It's so rewarding, and yeah, the support that you get is amazing from the agency. And the Super Social Work. Even though she's not, because lately she's just been. We've got a new one now, but she's still there. Kerry's still there. So obviously got a new same folk, but she's still there. So
yeah. So what sort of things are they there to support you with if you need them?
If any allegations happened or sort of problems at the school, sometimes issues with the school, maybe not having a good week at school or so. So they're there to support you through that, and obviously get them into the nursery when they had little babies. So yeah, sort of any contact issues issues do happen with contact. So, they're there to support you with them.
You touched there on something quite serious, really, that I think people might worry about before they become a foster carer. That if a child or a young person was to make an allegation against you, has that ever happened to you, and how was that dealt with?
Oh yeah, we had a teenager back in 11 years ago who, quite frankly, didn't want to be in care. But obviously, the referral through was that she wanted a new mum and dad, so she came. So like, okay, because it was on paper, it seemed quite good. And then she moved in, and quite different because obviously maybe the carer wanted her gone or something, so they were sort of not telling the whole truth about behaviour. Yeah, she basically wanted to get out of care. So she tried to climb out of her window, and we found her climbing out. And so we managed to get her back downstairs because she wanted to go and get her fix. So we got her through the front door because the police just said, you've just got to let her go. And then she threw an allegation, the fact that my husband had, assaulted her. But he was just trying to get her up, and then the police were like, oh no, that's not, nothing about the child, obviously that didn't happen. So but obviously there was meetings and what have you, and obviously it was all false. So she had tried that before. So
and did you feel really supported in that whole situation?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely, yeah. Full talked about with the social worker, and everyone was in agreement that it was just rubbish.
Yeah, because I think that can be something that people would maybe be concerned about and worried about. But I think it's important to know that if that was to happen, you are fully supported by the people around you, aren't you?
Yeah, and you do courses as well. So there's a lot of courses you can do on the Shine, which is our training, internet training. So loads of courses you can do. You can pick any course of anything. And actually, they're on there. Allegations courses on there, and sort of men to fostering courses on there, which my husband's done. So you do sort of, and lots of different courses you can do, and which will prepare you for anything that could occur, which would obviously the allegation could occur.
Yeah.
So,
And there's, as you say, there's so much training, isn't there, and so much education that you can learn about all sorts, can't you, really?
Yeah, absolutely,
Yeah. So if anybody listening, Amy, was considering becoming a foster carer, and maybe they did have a few things that they were concerned about, what would you say to them?
I'd say that, the support is there. It's a very supportive role. Obviously you've got the support from the agency, and just if you know someone who fosters, talk to them. Because they're the best people to speak to. The people who've had experience. And just go for it, and maybe call an agency, talk to them, and obviously get the ball rolling. So, but it's very rewarding, and you couldn't, it's really good.
Yeah. Oh, well, thank you so much for speaking to us today, Amy. You are absolutely doing Celia and Terry proud. You really are. I'm sure she will be so, so proud of you wherever she is. So thank you so, so much for talking to us today, and take care. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Voices of Fostering. If you'd like to find out more, head online and search National Fostering Group and make this the year you foster.